As I was looking at yesterday's game, it was, we mentioned it was going to be a tough game. And for a moment there, you know, I thought
Things
I
almost got
thought
out
the
of hand.
I thought the game was going to get away from us. That third quarter to me, you know, it might be swept under the rug. We won the game in an exciting fashion. It was a good game to the end, and we pulled out with the win. So obviously, we're going to talk a lot about the positives, but man, I just feel like the Knicks, this love and hate relationship with Thibs and the way he's managing the minutes and the rotations. There in the third quarter, when the third quarter happened, I wanted to text you because I just I know how you feel about the Thibs rotation. And I
Yeah.
know how passionate you are about that. So I wanted to text you to see what you were thinking, but I let it be. And so I mean, did you watch that third? Did you see what was happening there? Because I don't know what was going on in terms of the Hawks made a substitution before the Knicks in the third, and the Knicks. I was like, what's going on here?
And the Hawks were the team on the run. It's like they should keep the hot hand on the court. They
What do you think about what happened there? What's your
well,
thoughts? Were you excited?
when it comes to Tibbs and his rotations, I think my issue started well before the third. I think I had a few issues with the fact that he kind of went back to his starters too quickly, no pun intended, in the second. And that's where I really started beefing because if you looked at the game and if you looked at the way the game was moving, I just want to read a few key plays, a few key moments from the first leading into the second. So as I was watching the game, I was just looking at some of the notes and I was like, D Rose came in, 4 minutes left, first quarter, up eight, found RJ for three. IQ came in 3 minutes, we're up seven, hits three. IQ finds Randall for three. And then that's the end of the third quarter the first quarter. And then after that, I'm looking at it and we're still getting some positive plays from that second unit. Well, not so more so exactly the second unit, but with IQ and D Rose. So D Rose finds IQ for a three to start the second. And then out of nowhere, Tibbs is just like, all right, everything's moving freely. I like how things are going, but let's usher back in the starters. And then after he put the starters in, by the time he went to the starters, the Knicks were still up eight. So think about it. Rose comes in, we're up eight. IQ comes in, we're up still, but this time only seven. When they leave the game, we're still up 8 points, right? With 7 minutes to go. 1 minute it has elapsed, and now it's a 4 point game. Now, by the end of the half, they have Obi out there playing power forward. Not playing power forward. They have, I think, Obi out there. Yeah, they have Obi ending the game playing power forward. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. But I think Obi works better with D Rose and IQ. So why are you just going to put Obi out there knowing that the players he's playing with aren't really looking for him? So now offensively, I feel like we're playing 4-on-5 because they're not really looking for Obi. So now at the end of the at the end of the half, I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, Thibs is out here bugging, but we didn't give the game away. You were still up three. Let's hope we make some more adjustments and we come out second half and we blow the doors off them or whatever the
And I
saying
thought he
is.
was gonna have a short leash to start the third just because of the way it was starting to go. I'm thinking at halftime, I'm saying there's no way Peyton can end this game, and this is terms of how the game was going. So at halftime, what I was thinking was, okay, Tibbs is probably gonna have a short leash. He has to win. He's probably thinking at this point this is a must win. So he's gonna have a short leash to start the third, and there's no way that Peyton's gonna finish this game. And so that did not happen. I mean, Peyton thing did happen, but the third quarter started, and you saw how that transpired.
Thibs has a short lease for the younger players. You don't see it as much with a Peyton, even though he has at times pulled Peyton with a reasonable amount of time still left in that third quarter. But for the most part, the third quarter mirrors the first, where you see Rose come in and IQ come in 4 or 3 minutes into the game. And Thibs is lucky. I know we give Peyton all kinds of hell saying, he's not the greatest option for us at point guard. But Thibs is lucky because Alfred Payton held it down for us in that third quarter when we just couldn't get anything to go. He had, I think, 2 or 3 big layups that kind of help us build a lead and give us a cushion. So that way, when the second unit then came in again to actually close the game, because the only players that played the entire fourth quarter are Derrick Rose and IQ. I think Randall only played 9 minutes in the fourth, and I think RJ played about 6. So IQ and Rose held it down for us in that fourth quarter. But Alfred Payton, as much as I say he's not great for us, he definitely held it down and got us to that bridge where we had to then pass things on to Rose and Randall. I mean Rose and
And
IQ.
on the opposite end, that's what you would say is the consistent thing with Tibbs. Is the fact that he is, the way that he is managing the rotations and the minutes distributions and the substitution patterns. He's giving the veterans, for sure, he's giving them an opportunity to bounce back if they have a little bit of a rough stretch. Peyton had like a 2, 3, 4 minute rough stretch there, and towards the end, as you mentioned, he made a few baskets and he finished strong. Had he pulled the trigger early in the quarter, Peyton would have left the game on a negative note. And so on one side, we wanted him to pull the players early. And I mean, the pace of the game, all the evidence that was there basically support that. Like, the way we started the third, we even lost the lead. We were now trailing. And I'm sure Knicks fans were saying, okay, when are you going to substitute these players? Like, when are you going to pull them?
Bro, we didn't score until 8 minutes and 30 seconds left in the third, bro.
When it was the 9-minute mark and we still haven't scored, and Mike Breen mentioned it on the screen, I'm like, okay, can you make a substitution? Can you get Rose in here? Can you get quickly so Randall has a little bit more spacing? Like, can we do something? And he literally left them all 5 players. He let them get through it. Kind of pulled a little bit of a Phil Jackson there, where, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah, some coaches, some coaches get upset with a team's play, and then you have some coaches that, I guess, depending on instinct and feel, they bench the players to kind of send that message. They don't play games. They call an early timeout, and you're out of there. And then you have some coaches that at times they kind of do it to you where you're like, no, you guys figure it out. We had a great first half. Now you guys get out of this and you guys figure it out. The positive to that strategy is, with the Knicks winning and the Knicks getting out of it, is the fact that they just had a positive experience. They learned from that. So you gain experience going through that stretch. The next time it happens, they're better, prepared mentally to stay the course, show composure and poise, and make another run and get the team back into the game. I mean, listen, it's coaching. Sometimes it's going to work. Sometimes it's not. It worked for Thibs last night. But as it was happening in the third quarter, I'm thinking, oh, man, if we lose this game, I know that's the number one thing Knicks fans are going to come at is, Thibs, what were you doing with these rotations? But it didn't happen that way, and it was mostly because our MVP and our all-star, Julius Randle. Ooh, I'm so excited.
MVP
man.
of the league or MVP of the team? You think he should get any consideration?
I mean, listen, I think, okay, letting the smoke settle and some of the adrenaline, I'm very excited. Knicks fans, Knicks Nation, we're hyped, but let's cool down on the MVP talk. I get the footnotes. I understand, when you look at everything around the Eastern Conference and what he means to us. I think he's our MVP, but in terms of the league MVP, first of all, we're not even going to get the respect for him to even be in that conversation at this point, right? Because at the end of the day,
I mean, Amari did. Let's be honest.
But
Amari did for a period of time.
Yeah, he did. But right now we're 14 and 15. So let's get over 500, let's be 3-4 games over 500, and then I'll have that conversation then. Today, I think I'm more celebrating his performance, and I'm celebrating what he means to us. This is a guy that was much maligned last year and now has totally transformed his game. Not so much in terms of his skill set has transformed, it's just his impact. And the way that he's actually playing and affecting the game has definitely transformed this year.
Yeah, and I asked that because it kind of sucks, because if there was fans in the stadium last night,
Oh
they're
my
going
God.
crazy. MVP. It would have been dope for Julius Randle to have that moment on the last night of All-Star voting. That would have been
And
a dope moment.
that means a lot. I'm telling you, the fans not being in the stands, because is that garden, that
Energy.
atmosphere, that vibe, that energy. It's just that aura. The celebrities are there, so when everything is normal, the Knicks are even going to have more traction around the league. It's going to be more talked about just because of the activity that's going to be at the Garden. And when the 23rd, we're going to have 2,000 fans, and that may sound like a little, but I'm sure those 2,000 is going to make it sound like it's 10,000, because I'm telling you, the Garden is going to be rocking. Even the fake crowd noise they were pumping yesterday, that was rocking.
Yeah.
That was a great.
I don't understand why they turn it down. Keep it blasting.
Break the rules.
Whenever the
I
other
don't
team
care.
whenever the other team has the ball, blast it.
Man, break the rules. I would pump it to the Seattle Seahawks volume.
I was just about to say that, bro.
Who cares? I'll pay the fine. Nobody's stopping this run, man. Pump that crowd noise. Get everybody hyped. So, this is an exciting time. I'm pretty excited.
Uh-huh.